friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to decide where to stay at Walt Disney World. There are so many different resorts, so many different options. On-site, off-site, do you want a value resort, a moderate resort, or a deluxe resort? I'm going to talk through all of that and more, as well as show you lots of different resources online, how to decide which one suits you and your family and your budget and everything else. So stay tuned and I'm going to jump right in.
Today we're going to talk about deciding where to stay in Walt Disney World. There are so many different options and it can be really overwhelming, so it's important to narrow them down and decide what's going to suit you and your family. Now, if you haven't already watched my first video, which was deciding when to stay at Walt Disney World and information on that, you can go ahead and watch that. I'll throw in a card right here so that you can click through and watch that. That would be the first step. Now, the second step is deciding where to stay. So of course, when you're deciding where to stay, one of the first decisions that you need to make is whether you plan on staying on Disney property or off Disney property. If you're staying off Disney property, there are many options, and there are also many options staying on Disney property, but today we're going to talk about staying on. I have done both. I prefer staying on Disney property much more than I prefer staying off. There are just a lot of perks that come with staying on property. Including but not limited to airport transfers included with the price of your hotel room, getting buses or other monorail transportation or boat transportation to and from the amusement parks throughout the week of your stay. Just a lot of different things like that that make the vacation feel very all-inclusive. And so that's what I would highly recommend. If you do decide to stay off-site, I recommend going ahead and searching around and looking to find a hotel that includes a shuttle service to and from the parks. Some people don't mind parking at the parks, and that's totally fine. I found that when we went and rented a car and were driving to and from the parks, it was just a whole layer of responsibility of remembering where our car was and when we, where we needed to go. And it lengthens the amount of time to get into each park by quite a lot versus getting on the buses from the hotels. So it's totally up to you and your family. But today I'm going to talk about deciding where to stay on Disney property. So when you go to the Walt Disney World website and you click on places to stay up here at the top, you will find so many different options of all different tiers and types. Disney's resorts are broken up into three categories: value resorts, moderate resorts, and deluxe resorts. So value resorts are very themed. They are very kid-friendly. So I'll click on All-Star Movies, which is a value resort. The rooms are nothing special, so to speak, but the theming in the places is very loud in terms of being very oversized. Kids, it's really fun. Kids really love value resorts because the theming is just incredible. You can see, like in the All-Star Movies, there are Dalmatians that are like taller than the hotel buildings down here. The rooms are pretty standard here. You can see they're nothing special. They're great, they're fine, and a lot of people really love being able to not spend a whole bunch of money compared to the moderate and deluxe resorts, but still getting to stay on Disney property and still getting that really cool theming. So All-Star Movies is one. Art of Animation is a newer resort, so I'll click through to that. It's the most expensive of the value resorts, but it is a great option, especially for larger families. You can see that the rooms are heavily themed here. So here's the lobby area, and there's like Pixar kind of drawings and things. There's a really cool Cars section. Just everything is just larger than life in value resorts. Here you can see like the little cozy cone pool that's inspired by the movie Cars. There's a Finding Nemo pool. It's really fun. So, and then within the rooms, they have Finding Nemo family suites. They have Little Mermaid rooms, Cars rooms, Lion King rooms, all kinds of different things. And they're all just heavily themed. So this is pretty representative of the value resorts that are available. There are pros and cons to every tier of resort. And, with the value resorts, they are larger. Sometimes it takes longer to get to your rooms. The buses are a little bit more crowded. The dining options aren't as maybe nice. But there's a lot of really great things about staying in value resorts as well. You get to be on Disney property. You're not paying an arm and a leg. And, you get to enjoy all that really fun theming. So that's something to consider. The moderate resorts are just kind of in the middle. They are still in the motel style rooms where you enter your room from the outside, whereas the deluxes are not, but they are a little bit more refined. Port Orleans French Quarter is where my husband and I stayed last January, and we really loved it. This is the lobby. It's themed to be like New Orleans. The whole resort is, has these like streets with street lights and trees, and it's really beautiful. Very beautiful. The pool is, still very themed and fun. The rooms have a little bit more of a refined feel than the value resorts do. And Port Orleans French Quarter in particular, we really enjoyed because it's very small. The resort itself is quite small. It's the smallest resort of all of the Disney resorts. So it was only ever like a 2.5 minute walk to the bus, which for some of the larger resorts, it could be a 10 or 15 minute walk just to get to the buses. So that's something to consider too. So that's kind of within the moderate range. And then finally, there are deluxe resorts, which are the most expensive. They are more like hotels where Wilderness Lodge is a deluxe resort, where you don't enter your room from the outside. You enter your room from the inside of the building. So here's like the Wilderness Lodge, which is themed like national park lodges. You can see it's really beautifully themed, and just a really neat place to stay. The rooms, you can see a little preview up here. Of course, the Grand Floridian is very well known. It's the most expensive typically of all of the different resorts. It is definitely a deluxe resort. I think the Grand Floridian is awesome because it's on the monorail line. I would love to stay at the Grand Floridian someday, so you can take the monorail right over to Magic Kingdom or Epcot very quickly. So you can see this is what the inside of the hotel looks like. It's very different than the value and very different than the moderate resorts. So you kind of have to figure out what suits you. If you're starting from scratch and your budget is flexible and you aren't sure that your budget puts you in one tier or the other, then you may consider going over back to Shannon's site that I was talking about in the first kind of episode in this series when we talked about deciding when to visit Disney. And you want to go over to her step number 2, lodging, and click there. Now she has extensive pros and cons of every Disney World resort that you can check out, so that if you have no idea where you want to stay, but you have this need because maybe you have 5 people in your family, or maybe you really want it to feel more romantic, or you want it to be quieter, or you want it to be a little bit louder and more kid-friendly because you have rambunctious young kids, this is a great place to go for that. So up at the top, she has kind of a table of contents for the page, so you could click through to the different options. You could go to the beach club option and kind of read through the different pros and the cons for beach club. You can go down and go through all of them. Down here, now we're into the moderates: Coronado Springs, Port Orleans French Quarter, Port Orleans Riverside, and then down to the value resorts. So you can kind of go through this and see kind of what makes sense for you and your family based on your budget, based on your needs, based on what kind of theming appeals to you. All of those different things definitely come into play. So some things you definitely want to look into after you've decided whether you're staying on or off site, and after you have identified your budget for the hotel, is figuring out the proximity to the parks. So value resorts and moderate resorts are typically further away and more hard, it takes longer to get into the different parks, whereas many of the deluxe resorts are very, very close. So for example, the Polynesian, the Contemporary, and the Grand Floridian are all on the monorail line, meaning that you can hop on the monorail and get right to Magic Kingdom or to Epcot very quickly. The Epcot area resorts that are on the boardwalk, there are quite a few. The Yacht Club is one of them. The Boardwalk Inn is one of them, and the Beach Club is one of them. So all 3 of those you can see even in this picture of the Beach Club. You can see the Epcot ball. So you can actually go through the International Gateway, which is the back entrance to Epcot that is located in the World Showcase, and you can walk right into Epcot. So that's a great perk if you really like Epcot, is to stay in one of those resorts, because you could walk right over there easily. At the end of the night or during the day, or just to grab dinner or breakfast or lunch or whatever, you could go hop over to Epcot and spend quite a lot of time there. You also want to consider the size of your group, because some resorts are able to accommodate more people in a room than other resorts, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Restaurants are another thing. Some of the deluxe resorts have really beautiful, high-class restaurants within them, and the value resorts don't. So you're kind of trying to figure out what's going to suit you and your family. And then, of course, just the amenities. Every resort kind of has different options, different cool things that you can, look into. And like, for example, some different resorts that you have the option of renting a fishing pole and going fishing and different little things like that, if that appeals to you, you might want to look into that. You can see, like, at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, you can get a cookie every day. Some of the Savannah view rooms, you can see some of the animals, that kind of thing. But then she has some cons down here written, too, that you can't see or walk to any of the parks. The standard view rooms could be disappointing, such and such. So this is the next place to go. So you kind of want to decide when you're going, kind of what do you want, value, which you can see value, moderate, or deluxe resorts. And then you can look through them both here on her site and kind of get pros and cons and figure out what's going to suit your family. And then you can also go over to the Walt Disney World website and click through and find out what is going to suit your family that way. So you can see over here on the side, the Disney site has kind of the starting from rate, which can change and fluctuate each night. It can definitely change and fluctuate depending on the time of year you're going. Obviously, busier times of year are more expensive than less busy times of year. So if you kind of know when you're planning on going, you can put the check-in and check-out and put the adults and children in, and that will help narrow it down as well. You can also narrow it down by resort characteristics. If you want to be on the monorail, such and such, you can go through here. The location, if you want it to be in the Magic Kingdom area or the Epcot area. And then obviously the price range as well. So those are the two different resources that I would recommend, is the Disney World website, and then again, www.prepschool.com. And the way to get to this pros and cons, once again, is to go to By Planning step, click on Lodging, and then you want to scroll down. I think it's the third post down. His pros and cons of every Walt Disney World resort. Shannon, the woman who runs this website, also has a podcast you can check out, and she has different episodes that she has her favorite value resorts, moderate resorts, deluxe resorts, best resorts for big families. She has all kinds of information on that podcast as well. You can also follow her on Facebook. Once again, this is not a sponsored video by her by any means. I just really appreciate the work that she's put in. So those are the things to consider when you are looking at where to stay. You can look and read 1,000 different forums, but I found these two websites to be the most helpful in terms of narrowing down what I'm looking for. Some resorts are more highly rated than others, or more sought after than others, but at the end of the day, I think most people will say the Disney experience is typically a very positive one. And the service that Disney is known for permeates all different tiers, from value all the way to deluxe. It's different for sure, but you will likely have a great time if you know what you're in for and you know what to expect at the different tiers and the different resorts. So that is some help on deciding where to stay in Disney.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in helping you decide where to stay when you visit Walt Disney World. If you have a favorite resort, then be sure to drop the name below and share why you love it, what kind of groups it would be best for, and that kind of thing. That would be super helpful, I'm sure, to other people who are watching this video. Make sure you stay tuned. The next video will be how to book a Disney vacation, and from there we're going to talk about how to create a daily plan. If you have any questions, you can leave them below. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more Disney videos, and like this video, give it a thumbs up. It's super helpful to me as well. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'll see you soon.